Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. Let's talk some stock. Jeez. Okay, so we ended up seeing D-Local end up having earnings today. Honestly, I know it doesn't look like it because the stock is down 13%. These were phenomenal numbers. Hilarious to say, but they beat on top, bottom, and adjusted guidance upward. Yet the small problems that they did have, they, talked about how Egypt volume was down and that it's recovering in October. So they already talked about that. And then take rate is going to be down, and it's partially due to one-time expenses. So even with the take rate being down, they still beat on top and bottom line. Net income increased by 93% year over year. People are complaining about, the take rate, not seeing sort of the forest through the trees here. So, yeah. And honestly, John, you're 100% correct. Payment companies are just not the way that people want to invest right now. So, extreme caution on a name like this, but with the amount of growth and just the simplicity of the business, which is why I really like payments, I'm going to continue to invest in and did buy the dip. So we'll see how it works out. But yeah. Circle had great numbers too, yet they're down. Just me. I actually did not take a look at that just yet, so I will get around to it. I've been getting around to a lot of other companies that have been showing off their numbers. Also, another company that's just extremely disrespected that I've been looking at their numbers is Duolingo. Honestly, I didn't mind the quarter at all. I thought it was phenomenal. They have just stunning growth and quite cheap as well now as of getting a massive haircut. So we'll see if I end up starting a position there. I would like it closer to the 160s or even 150s if I can get it, but maybe I'm being a little greedy. But we'll see. We will see. Currently, Duolingo ended up closing the day down 4%, 186.58. Cheaper than what you've been able to get it historically if you've been looking at the company over the last couple of quarters. But still, if we're out here being greedy, then I'm going to see what I can do. Tanner, I sold $32 covered calls. What should I do? This is for SoFi? Oof. Okay. I don't know. We ended up seeing a little bit of a dip as, who said that? Jeff ended up saying in after hours. We're going to talk about that because Chris Lapointe did something quite interesting with his shares of SoFi. Okay. Let's jump into that and get that out of the way. It's not going to be a long show today. I've got another show tonight and got to squeeze dinner somewhere in between those shows. So anyway, Chris Lapointe, the CFO of SoFi, ended up taking out a loan for $11.7 million, essentially $11.8 million. He gets that upfront payment today. Okay. He's then going to pledge 500,000 shares as collateral to repay that loan by November 12th, 2027. Okay. The bottom rung of that loan is $25.38. And the upper part of that loan, the sort of ceiling that the stock can be at is $50.58 by November of 2027. Now, that does not mean that Chris Lapointe thinks that SoFi is going to be at $50.58. Essentially, what he wants is the stock to be way above that. I mean, it can be $50.58, but the bank says, hey, I don't want this stock being any higher than this, or else we're going to start getting punished by just the lack of shares that you're going to end up paying us for us giving you nearly $12 million. Another way to think about this is he sold essentially a call on SoFi for $50.58 by November of 2027. And he's taking the full payment up front today. Okay. The bank that ended up giving him this loan takes a small premium. But So you can see this here for anyone that wants the actual breakdown here. But quite interesting. Anthony Noto just recently did this not too long ago, whenever the stock was, I think, $15 a share. The bottom, or maybe it was 18. The bottom rung of the stock was $13.37 or something like this. And the upper bound range of the stock was $30.80 something cents. So we're already past that. So whenever Anthony Noto wants to pay back that loan that he ended up taking out, he only has to pay, half the shares that he originally would have to have given. So instead of selling at 18 today, if you're confident that your stock is going to go up, or at $31 today, or actually $32.21 at the time right now, where you'd have to give up, over what would it be? 300 or 400,000 plus shares. He would only have to give up, if it's past $50.58 by November of 2027, 249,900 shares. So it is selling, but it's the most bullish way to sell. Now, this actually comes after his $25 stock, bonus payout. So I'm curious what he needs so much money for. Maybe it's diversification, Maybe he's buying other stocks, other positions. Maybe he's getting a massive house, a yacht, a private jet. Who knows? The world's his oyster at this point. Congratulations to Chris Lapointe. He's stuck around through the $20+ ranges all the way down to $4. And now he's essentially getting a massive payout if the stock's going to be above 50 by 2027. Here's the really bullish part. This extreme, it's also very good on his taxes as well. This is just rich people moves, right? Another interesting part in here is the fact that, what was I going to say? Sorry, I got caught there. Oh, the bank doesn't believe that the stock, or is fine with accepting that the stock is not going to fall below $25.38. Okay. If they thought that the fair value of this stock is $13, they wouldn't be giving out this loan where the stock can only fall to $25.38. Okay. Because then, like for example, if you're Timothy Switzer's, KBW, the analyst, and you believe that the real price target of this company should be somewhere around $20 a share, you'd be kind of a sucker to accept 500,000 shares at $25. Immediately, you just gave out a loan, you took a small premium, and then you're getting a stock that's 20% overvalued, if that's the case. But just the idea that they signed up for a range to end up lending out the shares of 21% lower than the stock price today, which the floor price is always going to be lower than where we are today. And the high side, the upper bound, was 57% higher than where we are today. That's pretty generous. That's pretty generous. Okay. What bank gave him the loan? I don't think it said it in the report. I'm pretty sure the one, I think there's going to be another SEC slip that ends up coming through probably tomorrow that ends up giving us more detail. That's what happened with Notos. I think it was in two different reporting things, or two different forms. And if I'm not mistaken, they do a lot of business with Goldman Sachs. So if I had to guess, it's Goldman. But we'll see. Okay. Just joined. Do I stay live or start over? What do you want to know? I would suggest staying live. I mean, we've only been live for a few minutes. It is most likely Goldman. Robinhood gave them the loan. All right. Yeah. So SoFi did end up, I mean, it closed out pretty good, above $32 a share. The stock was up 4%. So we ended up seeing a great stock today. But and I didn't post any screenshots. Okay, I don't want to hear it. However, the stock did end up going up to $32.73. Could you imagine if I tweeted out a screenshot here and then everyone got to watch this crash, you guys would be ripping my heart out. It has nothing to do with the screenshots. I didn't post a thing. Okay. Markets can just be a little timid sometimes. But this was a brand new high. We didn't end up closing above 32.56 or whatever the previous high was, but 32.73 is now the new intraday high. Pretty exciting. Tanner, what do you think SoFi will end at Q4? Like, meaning end of year after we show off new earnings? It's hard to say regardless. I mean, it's extremely hard to say what the price action is going to be in the short term. Tanner, have you bought any Shift 4 on the recent weakness? Yes. Yes. However, I'm feeling the pain of buying some of these cheap companies. It can work out sometimes. It's worked out for Google and Amazon and some of these names, but buying Reddit, Meta, Shift 4, D-Local, these sort of names have not worked out as well. Not yet. I mean, it's been an extremely short period of time, but yeah, we'll see. First rule, never post screenshots of new all-time highs. I have to. It's going to happen again. I'm going to have to do it. It's fun. I enjoy it. Okay. How's NVIDIA earnings going to go? I'm very, very hopeful that they're going to go very well, followed by a triple beat. So, as usual, I remain extremely bullish on NVIDIA. Meta does seem like a no-brainer at this point. I mean, people are punishing him for investing in the future. It's going to happen. You know, asking Mark Zuckerberg to not dream of a Meta that's bigger than the one it was tomorrow or yesterday is not something you're going to get him to do. He's been right about the future 90% of the time. 10% of the time you can put the metaverse in there and VR goggles and stuff like this, which, you know, might be a small percentage of their business, obviously not a large one, but maybe one day. Maybe we're just 10 years too early. Did you buy any CoreWeave, Nebius, or IREN? No. I might buy Nebius, but no, I'm not rushing into anything. I have such a massive position in artificial intelligence already, so NVIDIA is going to make up for, you know, hopefully a lot of those gains, and I don't even have to pick another winner. Okay. Thoughts on the Burry short? I think good luck, you know. Good luck. He's called 15 of the last, you know, 2 bubbles. And yeah, I don't think the companies that he also stated were you know, the ones that I would have picked, at least. Okay. What's your take about new banks' earnings? I think they're going to be very positive. They're still going to have some FX headwinds, obviously, but for the most part, it's going to be really great. And I think that they continue to grow in their geographies. And obviously, Mexico and Colombia, we've seen some reports on whenever they've hit customer milestones, and they've definitely pushed into those geographies much faster than analysts previously believed. Tim Cook's daughter just bought a huge amount of Bitcoin today. I didn't even know Tim Cook had a daughter. I'm not following the Apple family all that close, or the not newly appointed, but the appointed CEO of the Apple family. I followed whenever they got into the iPhone Pocket, which was yesterday, and I've not forgiven them since. Maybe I'll fall in love with Apple again, but ever since this, dude, I can't get over it. It's actually so bad. Like this is the downturn right here. The iPhone Pocket. This is $150 US for the short strap and $230 for the long strap. It literally says here, inspired by the concept of a piece of cloth. Do you think your customers are actual idiots? A piece of cloth that you're selling for 230 US dollars? I don't know, man. Uh, it is funny. It's hilarious. Oh, I don't have chat up. Sorry. Um, Tanner, what do you think about the drop on dLocal's earnings? I think that it's just like, well, I don't want to say it's crazy. It's not like it was a plus quarter, but they beat on top line, they beat on bottom line, they adjusted positively on guidance, and then people are worried about take rate. It's like, yeah, but what does take rate affect? Take rate affects the total amount of total payment volume, and then what you get out of it for revenue flowing down to earnings and or like net income and then earnings per share. They beat on those numbers. TPV came in so strong that they ended up beating on all the numbers that they are worried that take rate is going to affect. Now, my problem is that the earnings call sounded like they've been up for 24 hours. It was completely emotionless, super boring, and didn't want to defend or talk positively about the business at all. I mean, they breathed no life into the stock while it was falling. It's like they were watching the stock and just getting sad, and so you could feel it in their voice. So that sucked. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how a company, which this is one thing that I'll also say to you guys. Some people that look at this company end up going on and they look at the PE ratio and they're going, oh, 30 times PE. And by the way, after today, it's going to be much lower because EPS went up by 93% and the stock got cut by 13%. So the PE tomorrow is going to be like 20, maybe not that low, but like, 23 times, something like this. And then people go, it's kind of trading in the range of like Meta or something like this. So it's reasonable. No, it's not. This is a $4 billion emerging market, zero penetration, growing TPV and revenue over 50%. Okay. Meta's not growing at 50+% rates. And then net income grew by 93%. Let's put this into perspective about the what they're actually doing. So I just have some problems there. I don't know. Their existing customer, you know what they said? They said, yeah, we have some problems with the top 10 customers in their concentration. They make up for about 60% of the total market. But quarter by quarter, the top 10 customer list is constantly changing because we just keep getting larger and larger customers. That's not concentration risk. They are just getting larger customers. They said the top 10 is changing quarter by quarter. So like they did $10 billion in total payment volume. They're doing worldwide unified commerce. This is so small. Like, it's a small name. I don't know. You tell me this net income growing by 21% quarter over quarter, up 93% year over year. Revenue growing by 10% quarter over quarter. Payment volume up 13% quarter over quarter. You look at, TPV retention rate of 157%. This is year over year, right? So they end up bringing on new merchants. Existing merchants in current markets end up adding even more. Then they want new products, and then they want new markets. Okay? They are growing their existing user base while bringing on new merchants. The new merchants start off small because they started in this quarter. Like they're just starting the relationship with dLocal. But if you look, to get 157%, these markets are not growing. So a customer that brings on the same amount of payment volume stays exactly the same with dLocal. They don't grow. The retention rate on revenue or on total payment volume would be 100%. Okay, the customers are not growing, but they're staying with dLocal. That's strong for a payments name. 157% is not how fast these emerging market businesses are growing. Like you can look at GPV or GDP. Sorry, I was like, what the heck am I trying to say here? Gross domestic product growth in these emerging markets. They're not growing at 57%, but yet payments at dLocal is. Okay, meaning that these customers are bringing on a lot more volume. It's not just growth at those businesses. What are we talking about here? We have best-in-class net revenue retention over the last 9 months. They're at 136%. There's a lot of great names on here: Snowflake, MongoDB, CrowdStrike, HubSpot, Zscaler, like Datadog, Okta, Bill, Block, DocuSign, Cloudflare, all below dLocal, down 13% on these numbers. Like, am I crazy? They just put out a new product, buy now, pay later. It grew volume 2.5x volume quarter over quarter, and they take on zero credit risk for this product. The customers that they end up giving these products out to have to take on all the risk. It's dLocal. This is just a company that I've been following. Look at this. So aside from advertising being down, which I think is one extremely large customer that is not using dLocal as much, you see growth across every single category. This is not like they're subject to, we do streaming payments or something like this. No, they help with commerce, financial services, remittances, ride hailing, on-demand, SaaS, streaming, advertising, other, and travel. Like, it's just growth across the board. So you're processing last year $6.5 billion payments. Last quarter, you did $9 billion. This quarter, you're doing over $10 billion. That's fast growth. Down 13%, mind you, on a triple beat. And I'll show you why it took a triple beat. Net take rate. Higher share of payouts. Egypt share, I was looking for this one. The Argentine, problems that they're having over there, which also affected Fiserv as well. And then other here, they said was a good amount was one-time expenses, and that they would have probably seen somewhere along the lines of 1.03% if it wasn't for that. They said it's going to continuously go down as people shift away from like really high take rate cards to other payment types, but they're growing at, 60+% rates on payments. Like what are we talking about? It's like Palantir, right? Palantir does like 7% of their business goes to stock-based compensation. No one's pointing up and being like, hey, but you're like that's a bad statistic. Shares are diluting by 7% year over year. No one says that because all the other statistics are doing so well. Who am I? Bag holder Tanner. No, I am. I am officially bag holding again. And I bought the dip. I don't know, man. I think it's one of those things. I think you can kind of get a little rich. Okay, let me preface this. I'm an idiot. Okay? I'm not a financial advisor anymore. I'm definitely not your financial advisor. And I think that there's a lot of money to be made in these businesses that people think are being revolutionized, and they are. Like stablecoins is changing a lot of things at payments, but dLocal fully knows that. They're getting completely involved in crypto. but that the change is not going to be as absolute as people think, right? Like Visa and MasterCard does a lot of business. A lot of people still do payments in cash. You know what I mean? Like there's a better cashback solution already, but people like the plastic cards. They like the tap. Okay. They're like in industry, whenever it gets a new technology does not just, okay, everyone just completely agrees with the new consensus and we're all going to move our business over there. Yeah, right. I think that for Duolingo, to some degree, they're going to be perfectly fine. I think dLocal is going to be perfectly fine. PayPal, anyway, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm getting upset now. Yeah, I'm a financial entertainer. That's call me that. Okay. Time to go all in on dLocal. Thanks, finance guy. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. What's Circle sitting at now? Circle 86, down 12%. Yeah, I never really understood Circle's business, to be honest with you. I never understood why it ran up to 300. I was never with that idea. Like, I think just, JP Morgan stablecoin is going to do very well. I think SoFi stablecoin is going to do very well. I think it's going to be one of those things that like almost any company will be able to to do and replicate, and it's just so unbelievably easy to start a new stablecoin. So I'm sure USDC is going to do very well, but like, what makes them deserve a very high premium? That you almost need like a moat. And I don't know if that's moat worthy. Okay. PaySafe earnings tomorrow, sub $600 million market cap company with $1.7 billion in revenue. This report should be clean. We shall see. I'll keep you in mind. BlackRock ended up buying 10 million more shares of Grab. Dookie, I'm in it. I'm here with you. I hope for the go-to acquisition. I'm all for it. SoFi or dLocal for the next 2 years? I have to say SoFi. Here's the thing. dLocal is risky. Like I think that there's smaller names that have much higher upside. What I don't think comes across enough from me is risk. Like whenever I'm betting on companies like BM&R or dLocal or Reddit or some of these companies that I've made like small positions in, my share out of all those companies that I said, BM&R is by far the largest out of those. I really stacked on my position there. But it's still about, what's the conviction? What's the chance of certainty? So for me, by far my highest position in my portfolio is NVIDIA, right? Over 40% of my portfolio is in a $5 trillion company. Okay. If you were to say to me, Tanner, what has a higher upside, dLocal or NVIDIA over the next 2 years? I mean, clearly it's the $5 billion company, not the 1,000x business. However, what is my conviction or what's my certainty that NVIDIA wins versus dLocal's win? I hope that dLocal 10x's. I hope that NVIDIA 2x's. But I'm confident in NVIDIA. I'm very confident in SoFi, and that's why it's like the third biggest position in my entire portfolio. So, yeah, but dLocal could skyrocket. Someone said, Tanner, you bought Grab? I bought Grab with Dookie's money. She's got 300,000 shares of Grab. She thought she'd give me, a couple hundred shares. Appreciate it. Dookie's rolling in it. Of course, I'm confident in BM&R. Am I as confident in BM&R as I am in SoFi? No. But I do think that they are buying Ethereum, and I've got high hopes that Ethereum continues to work. For example, look at this. I was looking at this on Artemis yesterday, and I thought it was a great signal for what stablecoins is doing, and then what Ethereum is doing. Tell me about this here. Sorry, just pulling up a thing. If we actually look at, it's got to load. This is not a platform that I recommend. Well, not that I'm not here to bash this business, but anyway, if we take a look at the, I don't know why it's like this, but stablecoin supply by chain. Can I make this any bigger? Or anyway, let me pull down the chat for a second. Stablecoin supply by chain. If we end up looking at the entire, like all of them stacked together, this is over the last 3 months, stablecoins have actually kind of flattened out, which had worried some people. You'll see some tweets online like, oh, maybe this is where stablecoins have maxed. But whenever you actually sort by the top stablecoin changes by chain, no, there's just certain large losers in this space, like Tron. But Ethereum is not losing. They're actually widening their gap by a lot. So it just goes to give me more confidence that there's differences and choices that are being made on Wall Street, and they are picking winners. Might be Solana. It might be Base. But it looks like it's Ethereum. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into this chart a little much. Let me back this up really quick. We'll even look even closer here. Not by coin. Yeah, like there's a lot of drop-offs by certain things. Like even in the last month, Solana's taken a little bit of a hit. Plasma is a really interesting name here. Tron, Arbitrum, seeing some decreases across stablecoins, yet Ethereum in general skyrocketing. We'll see. So I remain bullish on Ethereum, and if BMNR falls below a 1 times MNAV, then you're essentially just able to buy Ethereum at a discount. I don't think it's going to come to that. I think they'll be able to stake. I think Wall Street will give that a premium because there's a lot of institutions that, one, maybe can't even buy Ethereum right now, or two, or are not in the right state to do so, or even three, think that Tom Lee is going to be a good steward of capital and be able to add on additional yield, use the advantage of having so much Ethereum, buy into more Ethereum at cheaper cost than what we would be able to buy in at. And so if you can get it near a 1 times MNAV, then, that might look to hold quite the premium. But it also depends on where ETH's price is. If ETH's price continues to fall, BMNR is going to fall. If you're bearish on ETH, then don't touch BMNR. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Say no more. Full porting BMNR. Don't do that. The projected 5% by date, I have not updated it. However, they have slowed down their amount of ETH purchases just because they don't have the multiple to do it right now. They've been acquiring roughly half of what they've been acquiring previously. If I were to just think about it, back whenever they were acquiring 200,000 per week, when was that? I guess it might have just even have been early October. It's crazy because we get these weekly updates, how long ago it feels like. But they were supposed to get to 5% I think back in either late September, early October, by January 15th, I would just essentially double that timeline because they are acquiring roughly half of what they were acquiring before. So now maybe they're on a timeline to get there by April or May, something like that. Um, okay. Have you ever heard of a company called Zeta? Yes, and I'm reading up on it. I said that in the yesterday's live stream. I've been listening to some calls on Zeta. I think that you can't ignore businesses that have just constantly beaten raised. Yeah. I'm not up on my Rocket Lab, unfortunately. Um, yeah. Voting on reopening the government has started. Ooh. Is that somewhere where like it's live stream and watchable, or will I just have to just keep up with the um like news reports? I would like to see that though. Let's see what I can find. Um it's streamed. It's being streamed. Okay. Um this is what I see so far. Wow. Okay, so hold on. Hold on a sec. By the way, why are we just sitting in silence? There's absolutely no commentary here. Okay, I'll keep you guys up to date on that. We have 9 minutes, so um yeah, it looks to be the stream. I just almost want this like not taking up my screen, and then maybe we can do it like can I do it like this? What do you guys think about that? And then you guys can see that, and then I can continue to talk about some news of the day. That might be the way. 125 to 125. One Democrat voted yes so far. I'm pretty sure that means that it's going to go through if there's not been a single Republican so far that said nay. If I'm not mistaken, they already have the House, so um, there's just been a lot, or well, not a lot more, but there's been more Democratic votes so far than Republican votes. So, um, yeah, see, not voted on Republican 90 versus 82. So if we continue to get yeses, this looks like it's going to go through. But you're right. We do almost need music for this, don't we? Is the music making a comeback? We'll see. You guys like it like this? Or can you see it like this? It's going to easily pass. Okay. This is fun. I love this view. So, speaking of SoFi, really quick, because we were talking about that a second ago, SoFi's APY has dropped down to 3.6%. Hood is at 3.5% with gold. Um, and if you have signed up recently for SoFi Plus, that you can get an additional roughly 0.7% on that. So you'd be getting 4.3%. Okay. Tanner, you look important. in my t-shirt and hat, listening to elevator music. Dookie says music hits the spot. All right, good. Anything for you, Dookie? Well, not anything. Clearly, you've asked for me to take my shirt off, and I did not oblige. I just don't have it like that, you know? Yeah, this is a clear, the government shutdown is coming to an end. This is clear. This is absolutely clear. It's all about the not voted yet, right? Although this total looks equal, the not voted is heavily in favor of Republican. Okay. Fed cut next month. Santa Claus rally still on. I do think that's the case. Anthony Noto also said that if we get, what was it? 100 basis points of cuts. He didn't mean this for December, but going forward, 100 basis points more of cuts. So getting down to, essentially 3%, that he would be a extremely happy camper and that SoFi's loan business would skyrocket. Trump will be signing at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Per Bloomberg. Thank you. He also speculated at 200 basis points of cuts. That's true. That's very true. Rip my SoFi covered calls. Okay. Let's also take a look at the markets here to gauge overnight pricing. Yep, the market is the market's not hating this, that's for sure. The market is turning green in after hours or in 24-hour markets here. I can't pull up both, unfortunately. We'll keep it on this, and then it shouldn't last much longer. It's front running it because we've all won. Republicans already have the House, and then there's already been 2 Democratic votes for yes as well. Who's looking for 3? Does Republican put up a nay? What's the chances of that? I'm not a big political guy. Is the government reopened yet? No, supposedly it's going to be 9:45 p.m. Won't happen? Okay. Tanner, let's see the dance moves. You don't know it, Dookie, but I've got the feet going like that. So we're working. It's just taking my time. Tanner, is the government real? I don't think anyone knows that yet. The government banning the government? We're only 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from, what's funny? The market ran on this news already, but it looks like it's already, it's on 0 volume, but still. We'll cover this in a second, the actual market pricing, but looks quite green from where we closed at. Not enough for D-Local to go green. Down 12.6%. It's looking like we have the lead. to reopen. Nice buy, Tanner. I know, right? It wasn't the best buy for D-Local, but I think I'll be okay. 3 Dems. 3 Dems. The government's opening. There's a 7-vote difference here. It's going to get close to not even being a possibility. There was a nay! Oh my gosh! 1 Republican nay! Wow! Who said it's not going to happen? Who said it wasn't going to happen? It's still, yeah, get him. It's not going to change a thing. Okay. It ain't over till Polymarket pays out. We have gone full degen, eh? Yeah. Time remaining. Time's up. 6-vote difference, 7-vote difference. It was the bald guy. I saw him. That's funny. Okay. Seven-vote difference. 6 Democrats remain. I'm not a math guy. I mean, there was 1 nay. Maybe the remaining 9 Republicans are voting no. All right. Let's take a look at those markets. For markets, the QQQs, as you can see, turned positive, up 0.33% from the close, and then the SPY or S&P 500 index up 0.12% on that outcome. Okay, 13 people did not vote, 2 naysayers, and oh wait, no, sorry, they're still counting. Actually, this is quite interesting. All the people that are coming in with their votes now are quite interesting. 5 Democrats voted yes, and 2 Republicans voted no. And with 9-point difference in 10 non-votes, 4 of them being Democrat, the government reopens according to Bloomberg and someone who put this in chat. That will be at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. It's official. Okay, it's officially official. 9 non-votes, 10 vote difference. That's, can't come back from that. The government opens, ladies and gentlemen. This is good. We already knew this was going to be the outcome, but still. What a time. Okay. Bitcoin is mooning. Let's check Bitcoin's price. Mooning is a strong word. Bitcoin's up, you know, a little bit. ETH, I always click on that freaking Grayscale trust, man. Get it out of here. ETH 3430. Not much of a move here. We are open whenever Trump signs in at 9:30, potentially 9:45. Okay. All right. Let's see what else I needed to cover today. If not, I'll let you guys go early and get ready for my next show, which is at 9 or 9:30. What is it at? I'm doing a show with Steven Fiorillo at... Here, let me make sure I get this for you. It's at 9. I've got another show at 9. Okay. Do you guys want to hear... I want to listen to this really quick. This was Circle CEO talking about their Q3 results. Just because I'm following... well, I'm not following this name, but I am following the stablecoin space. I do want to learn about this. But yeah, let's see.
Posting quarterly results, the circulation of its USDC more than doubling from a year earlier. Join us right now. First on CNBC is Circle's CEO, Jeremy Allaire. Good morning. We were just talking about how you beat top line, bottom line. This is maybe what happens when you have a good company, but also an emerging technology that is the hottest play. And by the way, right now, you are the real way, and really maybe the only way, to really get great exposure to this world. So let's talk about what's going on, because I think competition is about to come your way. And so I'm trying to understand where this all goes.
Yeah, lots to talk about. Thank you, for having me on. We had a very strong quarter, as you noted. Revenue grew 66% year over year to $740 million. We obviously saw an enormous increase in the usage of stablecoins on our network. So USDC usage on blockchains, grew to $9.6 trillion of volume in the quarter. That's up from 5.9 in the prior quarter, and up, I believe over 600% year over year. But across the board, what we are seeing is the technology has been advancing rapidly. We're making some major moves in the technology space that happened also in the quarter, which we can talk about. And companies all over the world are diving in. And while there's some focus on, hey, there's going to be people who are going to try and build stable coins or other things, we are, I think, moving at pace to do two things. We're building a full stack internet platform business, from the operating infrastructure at the network level to the stablecoin digital asset layer to the application layer. So we're really transforming the business to serve the needs of these mainstream companies, and hundreds of them are getting involved with this as we speak, and we talk about some of that in our earnings release as well.
So the thing that I'm trying to figure out is, it does feel like competition is coming. You're acknowledging that competition is coming?
When you get regulatory clarity, that's it becomes a free market. Anyone can play. Now, what we've also seen, and this is actually in our results, is that we've expanded our market share. We grew our market share by over 600 basis points to 29%. We've expanded our market share in the usage of our stablecoins. And other stablecoins that have entered the market have actually had very limited success. And so this is a network effect business, liquidity network effects, utility network effects. So when major companies like Visa or Deutsche Börse or leading banks like Standard Chartered, or leading banks in Latin America like Itaú and others, when they're choosing what to build with, they're choosing to build with us because we have this broad utility and these broad network effects. And so, I've very consistently been seeing that this is a winner take most market structure, and that's playing out in the market. It's playing out in our numbers.
What happens when some of the big banks start to play in this game?
I think the banks are going to do things that extend their existing approach to money, meaning they're their fractional reserve deposits, maybe making those exchangeable between banks. I think that's very different than a general purpose form of money on the internet. That's public internet infrastructure that anyone can connect to and use. And so I think the approaches are going to be different. And in fact, we see banks as one of the single largest opportunities for us, partnering with banks, providing our infrastructure to banks. So it's been actually a really exciting time. ARC, our blockchain network, what we call an economic OS for the internet. We had many of the world's banks, from Goldman Sachs to Commerce Bank, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Standard Chartered, BNY, State Street, so many major banks who are working with us at the infrastructure layer as well. And so banks are, I think, represent an enormous opportunity for Circle.
Let me ask you a different question. We talked about it just yesterday, and last week we had Kathy Wood on. Maybe you saw her.
Yeah.
She effectively took down she has some very big expectations for the price of Bitcoin, but she took it down from, I think, $1.5 million a coin to $1.2 million a coin. And her argument was that she was surprised to some degree, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, just about the success of stablecoin and the idea that stablecoin could ultimately crowd out using Bitcoin as a transactional currency, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kathy's fantastic. She's been a big believer in Circle for a long time. And I think, the numbers are straightforward in some respects, right? There's $120 trillion of aggregate M2 money. About $60 trillion of that is cash and non-interest-bearing demand deposits. That's an enormous market. And in fact, with QE and other things, like the monetary base will grow. And the shift to hyper high utility money that is programmable, that runs on the internet, is a fundamental structural shift, and it will take greater and greater share of that form of money. And so as a medium of exchange, but also as a store of value for many in the world, like Itaú, the Latin American bank, the largest Latin American bank overall, they're using USDC to offer a digital dollar store of value to their customers.
Jeremy, we got to run, and they're gonna kill me, but I have one last question.
Yeah.
There is a concern that treasuries are going to move out of banks to effectively support the stablecoin universe. And as a result, it's going to take those treasuries and the ability to lend out of the economy. And that means there'll be less lending and therefore less efficient use of money.
So I will take very firmly the other side of that debate, and very quickly will say that stablecoin money is safer money, and stablecoin money will become the most desirable money to borrow. And credit markets will develop all around the world around borrowing and using this form of money. And so I believe that there's actually a tremendous opportunity to reinvent the credit delivery system, to move away from some of the risk-taking inherent in banking and move to something that is actually a safer form of credit delivery than we have today.
Honestly, I really liked that chat. I don't know if he gave a good answer to the banks coming into the space. He said, "Oh, a lot of them are going to use us." Well, what about the ones that aren't? And can they compete and offer a better product than you? And I'd like to hear sort of his answer of how can you compete one-to-one with, a bank that does have access to the Fed. That would be quite interesting. SoFi can put them out of business. I don't know if out of business is true. I'm sure they would probably get like a bank charter before that happens. But SoFi and JP Morgan and these other companies that are looking to get into stablecoins, I'm curious the route that they end up going. Like, we know that SoFi USD is coming, but we also don't know what blockchains it's on. That's another thing that Circle's sort of working on. They're trying to make their own mainnet, like L1 essentially, that they can offer their stable coins on, if they potentially want to get away from Solana and stablecoin and Ethereum and these sort of things. So it's going to be interesting. The industry's evolving so fast that it's hard to know what's next. And I don't know. Why are there 1,000 stablecoins now? Well, like he said, to be fair, what he did say is there are 1,000. all the new entrants are seeing zero success. It's actually the one that is seeing success that is a new entrant is, and surprisingly so, is PayPal USD is doing very well. PayPal USD is doing very well, and that's very recent. So, yeah. All the large chartered bank CEOs have a full head of hair. Okay, come on. And all the crypto company CEOs are bald. That's not true. Am I envisioning that Larry Fink does not have any hair? I'm pretty sure he's like got the sort of uncle look going on. Does he not? Am I misremembering Larry Fink? Yeah, no, he does. He's got no hair. He's just got hair around the edges. Literally, whenever you think of like billionaire, like whenever people are like, oh, you know, tax the rich, they think of this face. It's so funny to me, these businessmen that have all of the money to just, you know, put something up there, and he doesn't care. He just wants more assets under management. He's tallest whenever he stands on his wallet. I mean, that guy is, yeah. Now that's a rich guy. You made it if you're bald? Yeah. CZ shaves his head. Bro has such good genetics. He has to shave his head to look like he fits in with the crypto community. That's funny. And Vitalik doesn't try to fit in. He's never fit in with a crowd in his life. So he's just doing him. And everyone loves him for him. Or everyone loves it for him. Everyone loves him for it. There we go. Jeez. Tanner wearing hats. He's bald. Not bald. Tanner, long time no see. Been celebrating my fish's birthday for the last 3 consecutive weeks. All right. Good to see you, man. What's the show with Steve about? I have zero idea. I think we're just talking markets. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. But I do have to go get ready for that show and get some food in my belly. So until next time, which is in 27 minutes, where I'll see you guys back here on this channel. Bye for now.